And I get goosebumps now telling about it. But I had real goosebumps back then.
It all started 100 years ago. Fighting drought and blizzard, cattle prices damn low. 100 years of ranches, they're still going now. They still make a living off them good old cows.
Hey, welcome back. I'm going to kind of show you around a little bit more. We went around one field on our last walk. As you can see, we've got some fresh snow. Woohoo! Only 5 inches overnight. And there's still some on the ground. I don't know. Some of it melted away. I was happy to see there's enough that around the house it's enough to cover up the icy patches. And so anyway, the dogs are out and I are out again, getting some fresh air. So instead of taking a left and going around the field like I showed you on the tour last time, we took a right and are down here. And I'll kind of show you this thing right back here behind me. That's a pump for our pivot that is on that field up above. Let me turn the camera around so I can see, because I have to wear a hat in Wyoming. It's bright out here, folks. Okay, let me turn this around. All right. So you're looking at my snowshoe track. And that's where the other field is over that little rise. Here's the creek, looking nice and gorgeous, of course. And field across the creek. Talked about that once. That's where my bridge will take you if you want to go across the creek. Right here in front is where we get the water from the creek that comes across to the pump, which goes up that hill to the pivot, which of course you can't see because of the hill. Anyway, this is one of my favorite little places to come. Enjoy the creek. There's a dam that we put in right up there in the summertime. I'll film that from the other angle. But as you can see, it's a gorgeous day. I think it's up to 25. I think it was 16 this morning, along with the snow. But it's really, really warm. There's stuff dripping off my house right now because with the sunshine, it feels like it's wonderful. There's some of our bulls there. Let me zoom in. I'll stop and zoom. You can see them coming up. I'm gonna go, I don't know, get some grass, soak up some sunshine, do whatever bulls do when they're not chasing women. Okay, we're gonna stop because my snowshoeing makes so much noise. And in the crunchy snow at least. So we're gonna stop. I'll see you down the creek here just a minute. All right, we're down at my favorite spot. This is where we put a dam log across. It's those, see those logs over there? We'll put those in the creek to back the water up. You can't really see it, but right over there is a head gate, which means that's where you take water off the creek to put it in your ditch to irrigate, and you can see the ditch that goes down through the field. Okay, like I said before, Wyoming is very much a flood irrigation kind of place. A lot of people have switched to pivots, but we still have a lot of flood irrigation around here because all you need is a ditch and a shovel and some back muscles. So that's the dam, and right down here is a good place to pick up those rocks that I like to paint. And I've been painting a few of those. I hope you can hear me over the creek. I took some pictures of the icicles there. And like I told you, right above is our pivot field. So let's just look at some of the water cycle. The water that gets sprinkled on that field doesn't just disappear. The plants, the alfalfa and grass and hay, doesn't just use it all up. Obviously some seeps through the dirt, and as it seeps through the dirt, a lot of that is coming through gypsum right there. That whitish rock is a gypsum bed, and if you chop some off, it would be much whiter. But anyway, so it comes through, seeps down, creates icicles that go back into the creek. That's how the water cycle works. Bravo's over there. That's a great place. They like to go catch moles over there, and taking pictures of him doing that. He's quite the clown sometimes. Anyway, I'm gonna just be quiet for a minute, let you enjoy the creek sounds. Let's continue the tour of the fields I hike around with my dogs, and of course we harvest hay off of in the summertime. The hill, the red cliff we were just at, is of course right down there, and I've come up and around, so I am at the beginning of the pivot field. If I go another few yards in elevation, you could see the entire thing. We are right next to the highway there. You can actually see somebody's pickup going by right there. And you can also see the arched curve of the sections of the pivot. And that's just a couple of years old. We used to do roll line, which, if you ever get familiar with irrigation, you'll probably know that even though if it works great, it's great. But our stuff had old pipe leading into it, and it was, the guys really didn't enjoy it very much. But anyway, we were very glad to get the new pivot. The dogs are taking a break, and they are chewing out snowballs out from between their toes, because that's what dogs have to do here. Bravo would just love me to live outside. My house is too hot. He will come in, he will try and keep me company and be right by me, but he just will start panting, and it's just too hot in my house for him. And it's not, I don't keep it that hot, you know, but oh yes, I'm sorry, laughing at you. Anyway, he always has to ask to go outside. Eden, she'll stay in with me as long as I let her. Depending on the stinkiness of her, she has a tendency to find skunks and disgusting things, and I don't give her baths that often unless it really, really, really is too bad. So anyway, there's the doggies, and you can kind of get your bearing. This we can harvest this little bit right here because it will get spray as the pivot swings around, but kind of down there where the pump is anymore, since we got the pivot, we don't harvest that unless maybe we get a lot of rain, because it's just not worth it. Okay, zooming in, you can see the elevation, you can see all the red rock back there. And yes, we do have neighbors right there, but they're fairly seasonal. They come out a few times a year, and so they lease their ground to another neighbor, but there are houses right down there. And you can also see, if I can keep the camera still enough and know where I'm focusing, the creek is smoking down there and creating fog. I don't even know if I'm shooting the right way. Oh, let's see. There's a bull. Yeah, okay, I'm aiming the right direction. It's hard to see on the screen in these bright conditions. Anyway, so yeah, we do have a neighbor right there. We actually have a neighbor over that hill. You can't see her house from here. There's one over there about maybe a mile from here. We do have neighbors again on the other side of Brandon too. So this is kind of a little populated spot here. Anyway, to be continued. All right, we're up a little higher. You can see the pivot field, and we own as far as just the other side of that to the highway. So there's the pivot field. You've got quite the tour. All right, but one thing I wanted to show you, and I've kind of been meaning to talk to you about it on occasion, and just haven't ever taken the chance, but I want to show it to you today because I can. Eden, of course, is keeping me company, but I wanted you to see this, and I don't know if that's going to show up or not. Anyway, nope, stay back, bro. So, yes, this is a headstone. Yes, it's tipped over sideways. And maybe if I shadow it all, it would show up better. Go on, get. Sorry, I gotta get my dogs off my snowshoes. Oh, now I messed it up. Alright, let's see if I can sweep it back off. Every year I've lived here, I've said I was going to buy decorative fencing and put it up around this grave, and I have yet to do it. Okay, does that help? Maybe. I left some snow in there, so maybe you could see. Alright, here it is. Ah, there we go. Now we've got it. Okay. This is Annis Day. Born Adair County, Kentucky. January, I think it says 13. 18, 20, what did I decide? 26. 1826. Died January 31st, 1903. Age 77 years, 1 month, and what did I decide? 18 days? That doesn't make sense, does it? 13 and... Anyway, there we go. Okay, so the story I heard was that she was out visiting relatives and passed away while she was here. Anyway, it's coming up on, obviously, 13th is in a few days, and then of course the date of death was a couple weeks later, so I don't know why it says 77 years, 1 month, because it was still January. I'm a little confused. I mean, I'm really bad at math, but anyway, and I always think I'm going to put up a fence around here. There's supposed to be another grave, but there's a base for this here, but I haven't ever, I think Eden's on it, but I don't think there's a marker for the other one. Not that I've really seen, and it just, yes, it just kind of sits out here in the middle of our field. And I don't know if there was more of a hillside here at one point, and then years of farming have kind of taken the point down around her. I don't really know. But anyway, that's kind of interesting. I did have a interesting little thing happen to me when I was taking a walk with my dogs in October. And I'm going to flip this around so I can tell you my story. But I was down here on the edge of the creek, and just watching the dogs, watching the creek. I always look down in the creek, see if anything like a buffalo skull has washed up or anything like that. And all of a sudden, I turned and glanced up this hillside. And I swear I saw a woman standing up here in a long dress. And I get goosebumps now telling about it. But I had real goosebumps back then because I went, the farthest thing from my mind was Anna's Day here. And, it wasn't Halloween yet or anything. And of course I had my camera in my hand. And I did take a picture. And I was going to share it with you, and then I thought, well, no, I'm not going to do that. But what it turned out to be, when I could see just at first glance why I thought it was a woman standing in a long dress, was, I'll turn this around this way. You see these pipes here? And they're kind of at an angle, and they're they're tied together. But anyway, I was standing right down there at the edge of the creek and glancing up here, and for some reason, man, those pipes just gave me a big jolt. I'm not kidding you. Yeah, anyway. There's a story for you. But I don't think Annis would be haunting us. She's never done anything before or since, but someday, golly, I keep saying that every year, I am gonna get her a fence, and so that it's just a little bit more protected up here. Maybe we'll move the irrigation pipe just a little bit. All right, I guess that's all I've got for now. But anyway, there you go. Annis, you have a gorgeous place to see forever.